Okay, all right, we're back. We're back. Hey guys, gals, thank you for continuing watching. Appreciate you. You checked out the last video. It was a bit of pain, I know. So that was kind of a what not to do video. This one is going to be how to set up your WPF. So let's say you have an application and such, all right? And you want a certain layout for your application. See on your main page, okay? And the prior video, I kind of set it up where you had columns and rows set up using grid. And if you noticed, the columns were kind of crossing the rows and such, and it just makes it more difficult and more challenging. I mean, you can do it that way, it would work. You could. Let's just get into this, okay? Let's just get into this. So we'll go back to where we were. Okay, looking at our design. I'll just zoom it up. Okay, so you can visually see your layout, right? Based on your rows and your columns, okay? This is just a generic layout. And it does make it easier. You can build off of this, and we're using grid. So we defined, so our grid is pretty much the whole thing, right? That's why it's laid out like that. I didn't explain that last video because I was shaking my own head. It just made, honestly, like even I got confused. I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I doing here? Right? And it just creates more work for you because like in the last video, I had this top row filled up and I wanted to fill up the whole row, but you could do it, that's what this video is about. You could do it where if you set it up properly, you could fill your whole row with just one line of code. So what's happening here is your columns are kind of like stopping. So you have to actually, with this layout the way it is, we defined our rows and columns for our whole page, right? Closing grids down here. So with that said, that means our columns are crossing our rows, and it just makes it more difficult and challenging. You have to write a little extra code. You can make it work. Can, and you can obviously see your layout better, but you just end up having to, so let's say for example, I want, just like I showed last video, I want to fill this whole top row here with a color, okay? Well, let's say I wanted a gradient color. Let's say I wanted a color change throughout. So the color change would be more difficult because then you're going to end up, you're really not doing a gradient color change. You're going one color here, one color here, one color here, another color here, another color there. And it doesn't look good. So the way we're going to write the code is we're going to fill this whole row and the gradient's going to happen, but we're not going to have this column stopping us. We're going to set it up so that our columns, let's say we wanted our columns just inside this. We're in row 0, 1, 2, 3. Let's say we just wanted the columns only in row 3. And that's what we're going to do. Okay, so let's do this the right way. Go back to our XAML code. I'm just going to actually just type this up again. Okay, we're going to start from scratch. Okay, nothing now, so we have a blank, blank. Okay. Now I think you could choose to start off with grid. There's two containers, a stack panel and a grid. A stack panel is kind of like stacking boxes on top of each other, okay? A grid, well, it defines rows and columns, as you have seen. But we're gonna make, we're gonna make our whole program a stack panel. So everything within, inside, any code we build inside is gonna be inside our stack panel. So this is gonna be our main stack panel, okay? And of course I've already added a border and such. but that's kind of how you want to begin things. Okay, so let's layer the cakes. Okay, we're gonna layer the cakes. This is the do it the right way way. Do it the right way way. I know, that was funny. I kind of thought it was funny. Okay, so we're gonna do the first layer. So we're gonna start off with grid. We're gonna build each row. So that's kind of what you want to do. So we're gonna put a grid inside our stack panel. Okay, we are gonna do that again. Okay, and if I look at my code, yeah, we could just move this down. So this grid is just gonna be for row 0. Okay, and we're gonna fill it. Okay, so we have to define our row. So grid dot and row. Come on, where are you? Why do you have to go like that? Making me type more. Okay, grid row definitions. There we go. Let's close that. So now we're defining our row. That's what you want to do, is work row by row. Okay, do this row and worry about your second row after. Don't define the whole layout, as I showed in the last video. Okay, which was kind of painful. But here we are, heading towards doing it the proper way. Okay, so height equals, I'm just going to go 33. Okay, and we're going to self-close that. There we go. We defined a single row. Okay, the program's already set up. It knows to begin with. There we go. You can see our row. The program knows that obviously it would start at row 0. I don't know if you worked with arrays or not. It's kind of like indexing, but it all starts with 0. Okay, so this is our 0th row. Even if that's not a word, I don't know, but let's just roll with it. Okay, and inside we're gonna create a rectangle. Okay, creating a rectangle, and inside that rectangle we want to fill. So we're gonna do a rectangle dot fill. Okay, closing that. And then we define it with a linear gradient, a brush. Okay, we're gonna have a start point, and that's gonna be 0, 0. Now actually, let me just finish this and close the code, and then I'll show you kind of what the gradient's doing here with a web link. Okay, I'm just gonna close this. Okay. S. Let me find that. I got it saved here. I just gotta look for it. WPF. Hopefully, I find it quickly. WPF. Add support. We're looking for gradient. Here we go. I think this is it here. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna bring this up. Okay. This is Microsoft build, learn.microsoft.com. What is a linear gradient brush? Okay, so this is kind of how it works. So imagine if this was just a single row and a single column. Okay, and in regards to last video, so if you use linear gradients, that single column and single row, you're only going to gradient that one rectangle within it, right? Because you had going back to the code or to the designer, where's my row? Why are you not showing? There you go. Okay, remember we had column here, and let's say in the last video I had a column, but the column was crossing my row and it creates a stop. So the gradient's only going to work in between here, within that area. I hope I'm not over explaining. I'm trying to explain it and make sense. Hopefully it makes sense. But what we actually want to do is we want to gradient fill everything. Okay, that's kind of the goal here. Okay, we want to gradient fill everything through this whole row without having a column encroaching it. That's why we're kind of doing everything layer by layer here. Okay, so going back to this, you can see what it does. Okay, so 0, 0 starting, 1, 1 end. Okay, And then you could have offsets in between as well, and change up colors if you wanted to. Okay, but that's what that is. Okay, and that's what we're working towards. All right, let's continue our code. Okay, start point 00, end point 11. Okay, and we're doing the whole row. Okay, now we need a gradient stop collection. Closing that. And now we do our gradient stops. I know there's a little bit extra lines of code, but am I not typing? No, I'm not typing. Gradient, I don't know how to type today. Gradient stop, color, equals. Oh wow, okay. No, we already got equals. Hashtag. Free F88D1. Okay, and then we're gonna offset that. The offset's gonna be 0.0. Okay, that's kind of the start. And then we're gonna self-close that. Okay? And then we're gonna copy this. So we're going from 00 to 11. Okay? And then I'm gonna go like this. I'm going to change this up, but I just wanted to save some typing here. So the first one we're going to do 0.25, okay, quarter way through, and then we're going to go 50% of the way through, no, 75, and then we're going to finish it at 1, okay. So kind of like I had earlier, let me just show you, bring that back up, okay. We're doing this. Okay, position, position, position. Okay, all right, and bring this up, and this up, and bring this back up. Okay, and then I'm going to change actually my colors, because obviously it doesn't make sense to use the same hashtag, right? CE5. We're doing some gradual color changes here. B0, F9, and I'll show you where I got these values from. 7, BC, 4, FF. Okay, just trying to recall. Let me show you where I got these colors from. In the prior video, I actually brought it up. But I'll bring it up again. Hopefully I find it. If I open everything up right now, I would just have a million tabs. I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tabs up right now. Okay, let's see. Is it this one? Yeah, this one here. Okay, so I'm going to bring up this website. Okay, I got this from Computer Hope. Okay, more so for HTML colors. Okay, if you scroll down, I've got some nice gradual color changes. Okay, which is kind of what you want. So you can start off with a darker, go lighter, or go with lighter colors and go even more lighter, right? And then this one has quite a bit actually. I'll try to add this website link in the comments area there after the video's done. Oh goodness gracious, oh, I'm having so much fun today, but I'm trying to help you guys all learn here. So all right, now we could actually clean this up a little bit. Too much space going on. Let's delete that, double check 3F88D1 539 CE5 67B0F9 7B C4FF. Okay, let's build and have a look. Alright, so that I've built, there we go. You can see we're working with single row only. with no columns stopping us, right? And that's really what you want to do. Okay, let's run it and have a look. There you go. So we got a nice gradual color change happening throughout. Isn't that nice? And then you can even do the same thing with your footer. But obviously you're going to be layering your code, right? Again, you want to kind of stack everything is really what you want to do, so that you don't have any confusion like I did trying to explain what not to do last video. Okay, all right, so that is that. So I could add a little bit more, right? We're still inside our grid 0, row 0, right? We've only defined row 0, okay? That's what we're working on. What happened there? Oh, I know what I did. Did that. Okay. And then I put little comments here so that you know where you're working, right? We're still inside our grid end, so we're still inside row 0. We're gonna add some more. Okay, so what are we gonna add? Let's add some buttons or something. Okay, we're gonna define another grid. Okay, and we're gonna do some more column definitions. You know what? I'm gonna go like this. It's just gonna save on some typing. We're gonna go like this. Once you actually have it typed, it's just quicker to go like this. And we're gonna define a couple of rows here inside of it. Okay, but in this case, hopefully I'm doing, let me just see, all we're doing is defining more rows, okay? And I'm gonna go like this, and I'm gonna go like this, and then we're just gonna build, and let's have a look. I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but okay, we don't see anything yet. Okay, so you can go back. A lot of people, they'll work with their designer and their XAML kind of together. I don't know, I can't work like this, but you could have it horizontal split or vertical split. For me, I'm just kind of used to jumping back and forth between these tabs. Obviously you want to see your changes and such, but I don't know, I'm patient, I guess. I'll just kind of jump back and forth. Okay, let's create a stack panel here. Right, we're layering the cakes, if you will. Okay. Create a column 1. This is where we define our orientation. And we want a horizontal orientation because you can either stack things vertically, and you can also stack them horizontally, which is nice. Okay, and we're going to do a vertical alignment of center. Okay, and it's not self-closed. And we're going to add a button. Okay, and we're just going to give it a margin of 2. Okay, kind of like I had before. Content, let's file, and we're not going to create a click event right now. Okay, and then I'm going to give it a width of 51. Okay, we just defined one button. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. You can actually do that and actually type. Let's say I had a text box. I'm going to self-close this because that's what I want. You could go like this. Let's say you created a text block. Okay, and then you could actually type between. So you have a choice. You could just single line it and self-close it, and then define your text block with, I don't know, text equals hello or something. And you could do, here's another way of doing it. Okay, you'll see people do this as well. Okay, go like this, and then you could actually type hello in between. Okay, just another way of doing it. For me, I prefer the single line. Okay, so I'm going to copy this button. We're going to add in a couple more buttons. Okay, it's gonna have the same margin. I'm gonna put edit and view. Okay, hopefully all is well here. Okay, and I created, hold up. Oh yeah, I wanted it inside my grid. Okay, I'm already doing things wrong here. We gotta keep it in the sandwich is what we're doing, right? This is its own kind of, it's a layer within a layer, if you will. And then I can go like this, close this up, because this is defining our row 0 only. Okay, build. Let's have a look. Make sure we're good. There we go. Got some buttons. And I'll run it. And we filled the whole row with a nice clean gradient and added some buttons. So now if I go back to, because I created some button styles, you're gonna have to check out the prior video. I have an X key, but that's for the focus visual. I don't have an X key for the standard button. So the program's gonna automatically use what I've defined here in my resource library. Okay, if I add an X key, then I would have to actually I mean, there's no sense for me to add an X key when I only have one button standard. If I created, let's say I copied all this and created another style underneath, which I could, but I'll have to X key it. Okay, I'm just gonna close this. Save. There we go. Control home. I don't really want to save it. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm going back. Okay, so you can see that's starting to look a lot better, right? And I can continue stacking buttons all the way across without having any columns stopping me from doing anything. Because if I had a column, if I define a column on my whole page, the column's going to stop me here. Then I'm going to have to adjust the width of my column to fit my buttons. Okay, this way we have nothing encroaching. Right? Makes sense? I hope that's helping. And then, so if we're done row 0, right? So that's why I put a little comment here, because now underneath this, so this is all row 0 only. And you can add more code and do whatever you want. Add more buttons if you want. Do whatever you like, right? So now we're going to define row 1. Okay, and I'm not really doing anything in it, but we could define row 1 now. We're going to stack panel it again. And we're layering our cake, if you will. Grid dot row, and it's going to equal to 1, so we're defining it, right? And the last that's why I was confused, because let me just finish this up here. Okay, we're going to stretch it, and then I'm just going to close this. Okay, so in the last video I actually had to define the grid, define the row by typing grid row 0 here before. Remember that? If you're following along, of course, it's not a column. I could span it, right? I would end up defining it as row 0. I don't need to in this case, right? Because the program automatically knows it's row 0. But we are going to have to define grid row 1, right, in our stack panel. And I was kind of having a brain fart, but yeah, this is where you define it. Define it as part of your layer, right? This is the stack, so everything inside is going to be in grid row 1, right? And so you define your row within the main part of your stack, okay? All right, and then we're going to stick a grid inside because we can. Okay, and we're going to close that grid. This actually can go down here. I'm just going to go like this, delete all this, save some time. Okay, we'll keep those together because this is the end. Okay, right? Whoops. Do that. Right? Everything's going to be in between here. Okay, for our row one. And just to save some time, I'm going to go like this because I've already typed this all up. I'm not really teaching how to type in WPF or XAML code. It's not really kind of what I'm doing here. I got something wrong already.
I'm worried about getting my study permit and applying
Closing
for my
tag.
GRC.
Don't worry,
170.
I'm here to help you with the easy solution from Simply Financial. Open a bank account quickly online at home and fund your account. Complete the setup and access your money in Canada.
Kitty Scatto, commercial, leave me alone. I'm just gonna go undo. Not sure what I did there. Okay, grid. I feel like there wasn't anything wrong. What happened there? Okay, define that. Oh, my definition. That's what it is. I didn't finish the definition on my second one here. That's what it was. There it is. Don't forget to, I'm copying and pasting it. That's why they don't recommend you copy and paste a lot. Because it's easy to miss something. Okay. Alright, you have to close. I forgot the closing here of my column definition. That's all. Okay, let's have a look at our design. Okay, so we have another row with the column here, and then we got space in between and a column here. So it's kind of like if you look at Visual Studio here, I'm just kind of using Visual Studio's kind of a concept to look at, but you can kind of see there's like a column right here, and it's only so wide. Same thing with here, right, as you guys can see. And then I could define anything in here, inside here. Right, I could define, let's say, some buttons or some icons, some buttons with some, images on it, right? That's what this row is going to be. Okay, what are we at here for time? Things are going a little bit better. We got a few more minutes. I don't want to make these videos too long. Let's see. So inside this, we're gonna, I don't know. What did I have here? Let's see. I put in another stack panel. We defined our grid, so this is our main stack panel for row one. Okay, that's what this is. It's its own layer, and we have a grid inside because we want to define some columns. Right? We want to define the row, but we also want to define the columns. Okay, so that's all that's happening here right now. Okay, and then I'm going to add a stack panel, and I think I threw in a text. So let's just do that. Stack panel, grid, defining it here, column 1. I'm telling it to be in column 1. Okay, just remember we just defined 3 columns, right? But that first column is really narrow. The center column, as you can see what the asterisk did. Let me just finish the code here. Okay, I'm going to do an orientation because I have to finish my closing here. It's going to be horizontal, and then we're going to have a vertical alignment of center. Okay, and then I'm going to just close that. Okay, closing for a stack panel. Alright, so the asterisk, so going back, right? So the asterisk, what it did is this is the asterisk. Asterisk! I don't know why I can't say that word, but you guys know what I mean, right? The asterisk pretty much fills up whatever, the whole space, right? It takes up the volume, right? That's pretty much what it does. So if I actually go 2 times here, like if I actually show you, if I decide to maybe go like this, 2 star, let's have a look at what it does. Okay, it went 2 times, so it took this line here, which was right here. Now the column's here, and this single asterisk. So this row here is 2 times this row. Okay, so that's what's happening. Okay, and I could do the same thing with this one. Okay, the program auto adjusts it for you. It does the calculations and it figures it out. So these 2 columns, this column and this column, are both exactly the same, and this one is 1/2 of this, essentially. Okay, that's how you could define them as well. Or you can hard code them to whatever value you choose, right? Which is what I've done here, right? They're only 32 pixels wide. Okay, so inside, we're gonna add in a text block. Okay, and then do I have a style for my text block? I don't know, let's find out. Let me just have a look. Let me self-close my text block. And do I have a text block? I know I have. Yeah, I defined one here. So I'm gonna need text block style. Okay, this is part of my resource dictionary. Okay, going back to here. And if you notice, when I was showing you guys, when you're creating a resource dictionary, the great thing about it is you're going to have less code down in here, right? Because you don't have to define everything that you want, right? Everything's kind of right there. You're defining it here within our window resources, or you could define it here in our where our resource dictionary is. Okay, so you don't have to keep typing all this extra code, right? It's less work, less code you have to type. You could actually change these values. You know, you could define a new height and a new minimum. Whatever you define here in your design, right? So what we're doing is we're working in our design right now, right? And that's all below our window resources, okay? And whatever you define here takes precedence over whatever you define up here, okay? I hope that makes sense. So we're gonna go style. I'm the worst typer in the world. Well, style equals, we need these, and we're gonna static resource it. And it's going to have a resource key. And that resource key is going to, oh, look at that. It even knows what to use. Okay, text block style. So if you did everything properly and the program automatically recognizes what you want, that means you've done things correctly or properly, right? If it actually comes up when you're typing it up. So if I look here, go back to my text block style, you can see this is our key. Okay, we just defined some information or some properties for our text block. Okay, and like I said, if you set everything up properly, the program's going to automatically recognize that for you. Okay, so I'm going to build this. I haven't really, if I look at my text block, I have actual text, so we should see label temp when I run it. Okay, there it is. Okay, so let me show you to change the value, right? You want to define it, and it's text. Okay, we got to type text. Okay, so we told it what style we want, which key we want it to use. It actually knows, and we want to actually change the text. So this is where you're taking precedence, right? You're forcing it in the sense to be something else. Okay, I don't want to say overwrites, but it kind of it takes first place. Okay, So I'm gonna say, I don't know. Hello, thank you for watching my pain. Okay, thank you for watching my pain. All right, I actually typed it properly. Well, let's run it. Okay, there we go. Thank you for watching my pain. Appreciate you guys. And that's that. That was that. I wanted to show you that. So you keep, like I said, guys, you just keep doing layers, okay? It's nice to set up all your columns, and that's kind of where I'm going with this. It's nice to set up your columns or rows initially. It's great. You can visually see everything. Right here, obviously, you can't visually see everything because we're doing everything in layers, right? But like I said, what I did in the prior video, it was nice to see all your rows and it was nice to see all your columns, but that creates more problems for you, more work. Okay, that's kind of what I was trying to get here, and hopefully that helps you guys. That is it for this video. I hope that helps. So practice, keep practicing, right? Work with go back to the XAML again. Work layer by layer. Okay. We have a main stack panel, which is pretty much the whole thing, right? Or a whole design. So everything we put inside is going to be our stack. So essentially we have a main stack. I feel like I'm just over explaining, but I'm trying to help you guys out. And then do everything layer by layer, right? Define your first row. You could have grids. We filled it. We filled that first row with rectangle, fill colors. We have a nice gradient going through it because we don't have any columns stopping us. Yeah, I typed a little bit more code, but you know, I could get rid of this, right? It is technically less code than what I did before, right? But I'm a little bit anal, I guess, about stuff. I wanted to kind of transition it with 4 colors throughout, right? So it looks nice. And then we worked on our row 1. And then we defined our grid and columns in row 1, which you could do. And then you could have stacks. So we have a main stack panel just for our row 1, right? Row 0, we just use grid, okay? I mean, you can change it up. Depends on what you want to do. Do you want to stack things? Or do you want to have grids like here we have columns in this row, but this one doesn't, right? It just depends on what you want to do. Okay, so you can kind of transition between the two in each of your rows. Use either grids or stack panel with grid definitions within, and then have more stack panels, more layers inside layers. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that because I talk too much. And I appreciate you guys watching, subscribers. Thanks for sticking it out and not being quitters. You guys are winners in my book. Appreciate you all. Viewers as well. Thank you for watching. Just trying to think, am I gonna go on? Do I have more content to go on? I probably could do some more videos on this. I could continue with this program. To be honest, I want to get this one error that kind of comes up. We haven't had it yet, but I want to kind of do a video on that. So I kind of have to break it. So that's my goal. Let's break it. All right, you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll check you guys out in the next video. Wherever you are, take care and peace out.
Take this damage, in the way I feel, can't stand on the side.